Hi, everybody. Lots of you will probably be familiar with the term morning pages from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. One of my all time favorite books, especially related to creativity and art and feeling like an artist and being an artist. Wonderful. Can't recommend it highly enough. Basically, with morning pages, she asks you to write out 3 pages longhand about anything, just a brain dump, get all the noise in your head down on paper, and then you move on with your day. I decided this year, as I'm revisiting this, um, I would do it and try to make it a little bit more fun for myself because for some reason I've been not dreading, I've been digging my heels in to not do it, even though I know how much better my life is whenever I do my morning pages. So this year I decided a few days ago that I would paint over my morning pages. So it gives me a nice background that I can then mess around on top of and not worry about the words getting lost because it's just a brain dump. And over the years, when I've done this, I've realized that I've started to expect someone to read them someday. So I've been like filling out context or mentioning some meeting and then parentheses explaining what the meeting was for when that's unnecessary. And then it felt like I was not performing, but writing more. It just didn't feel as raw and personal and just a personal tool for just me as I wanted it to be. So I was talking with a group of artists that we meet with monthly, and Sherry Harris, who's an amazing artist, mentioned that, okay, well, Julia Cameron's a writer, so she writes 3 pages every day, but we're painters, so shouldn't we just paint every day? And I thought about that later, and I was like, huh, that's a really, really good point. So that's another reason that I was like, okay, well, if I do my morning pages, this way I get to do both, right? I'm going to paint on top of it every day. And I will also write because I know that the writing helps me. Journaling in general helps me. And it just helps me free my mind. It helps me to not get stuck telling myself the same couple things that just kind of spin around in your mind. Because once you get them on paper, it's really easy to see if you're just being critical of yourself and things that aren't true. So, for what it's worth, I have found this to be so enjoyable, and I'm looking forward now every day to doing my morning pages. Definitely takes a lot longer than just doing the morning pages, but it has been truly so much fun. And again, I don't have any set idea of what I'm going to paint. I'm just going with it. Same thing with morning pages. I'm just going with it. If you haven't gotten the impression yet, I don't like to overplan things. And I say overplan, but I kind of just mean plan. I'm very much an improviser at heart. Love improv comedy. I love being able to show up and just make stuff up and not need to memorize lines, not need to have a huge, to sketch something out 800 times before I try to make a big version of it. Once I've made it once, I'm bored. I don't want to make it again. So, and my best work, in my opinion, comes when I'm just trying something and experimenting and I'm being free rather than being, I get tight if I try to duplicate something. So, this whole process has renewed my excitement for the artist's way and my morning pages and my morning routine. My kids were homesick again this week. So much fun. But I was able to steal away to my art room and do this because I'm prioritizing this. This is my first thing I do in the morning after eating. I eat, I do my morning pages, and then I mess around with some paint. And the paint that I'm using is actually a mixture of paint, acrylic paint, and gesso. And I'm using gesso specifically to prime the paper as I go. This new art journal that I got is lovely. I love it, but the pages are not super thick. So they're a little flimsy, especially when I'm adding collage. Then you can really tell where they're stiff and there's more rigor wherever there's collage pieces, and definitely less, and it's more flimsy where there's no collage. So the gesso, in theory, and so far in practice, it's working out. Will prime the pages as I go, so I don't need to spend the time priming each page every day. Because what's the point of painting over words if you're never going to see any of the words? I do really like that some of the words show through and you can see my writing here and there. I'm a big font person. I really like font. Um, and my friend Amber and I, we're just big font people, so we like to talk about font. We're just kind of font nerds. Don't know why I'm mentioning that, but whatever. For those of you who like fonts and it's like important to you which fonts you use for different things, I totally get you. You're my people. Yeah, so it's become a quick, and I say quick, it takes longer than morning pages. It does take a while. I've probably been spending about an hour on each of these, and I'm only doing 2 pages of morning pages. So you could call me a cheater, or you could call me efficient and productive. Because if I did 3 pages, I can't paint 3 pages at once in a journal because then I have to turn the pages and then nothing will stay nice. So in order to do this, I'm just doing the 2 pages and I'm going to see how it goes. So if you're a stickler for rules, you're not going to like this one. That said, I do find that it's helping. And I'm 3 days in a row doing it this way. I'm not at all convinced I'm going to do it every single day. But right now, that's my intention. Just to do something every day. Definitely write my morning pages. And hopefully mess around with some paint as well. Even if it's something simple. Even if everything's not covered. My goal is to have this book at the end of the year be just full of fun, abstract paintings and be able to look back. Now, I don't know if my thoughts and feelings that I've written about in the morning pages will impact what I draw. Certainly, I guess any mood that I'm in while I'm painting will influence that. But I'm very curious as to where this project will go. So I'll provide an update at some point, and feel free to ask if you're curious whether I'm still doing it and how it's going. But this is my intention for this year, just to continue working on this and to see where it takes me. I'm just so curious, and I feel like my curiosity has really been triggered in the best way. Triggered's not the right word for that, but you guys get what I'm saying. So I'm having a ton of fun. I'm loving this new art journal. I am loving this whole process, and long live morning pages. If you guys are curious, I will definitely link to the Artist's Way in the description, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend the book. Highly recommend morning pages. Can't say enough great things about it. Yeah, I just had so much fun. And the benefit is if you don't have enough time, you just stop, right? It doesn't have to be finished. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be free and loose and fun. And It just really has to have paint on it to satisfy the requirements of my new morning routine. I'm going to write morning pages. I'm going to paint on them. There's no make a masterpiece rule. There's just put paint on the page rule. And those are the best kind. So do you guys do morning pages? I would love to know if you do morning pages. I would love to know if you do anything different with your morning pages. I'd love to know how long you've been doing your morning pages and how you feel about it. I assume if you've been doing it a long time, you find a lot of benefit in it. But I'll wait for you to tell me the truth. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love you to hit the subscribe button. And I do a new video every week, and I try to go live every Wednesday at 1:30 Central Time. So I hope to see you later this week. Bye.